Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Dr. Cheryl Clarke, and I'm excited to be with you on this morning. I come every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I come with a space for us to gather as women, as us to gather as a space where we could just get our power on for the morning. If you don't know what I do, I'm a psychotherapist, and I also be able to find your voice in the matter. Sometimes our voice get lost in the matter. It depends on what happened, trauma, certain things may go on, and we need to learn how to begin to repower ourselves. And so this is a power call. We're going to be here for about 15, 20 minutes, but it's going to insurge you. So, all right, if you have, I'm the author of Girl You Cute, so you can go ahead onto Amazon and get it if you don't have it. This is a movement. I believe this is a movement for young girls and women, so we can begin to move in this space of our own power. Speak with our power, stand in our power, and be empowered. So let's go ahead. The Speak Your Power Now declaration. Today I reclaim my power of purpose.
Today I
Today I
reclaim my
declare
power.
that I have unshakable faith and confidence in my uniqueness. Today I declare that I will not live in fear, but with power, love, and a sound mind. Today I declare that I always communicate with words to empower myself and others. Today I declare to always honor myself by living in the present and living powerfully in each moment. Amen and Ashe. Now, today, what I want to talk about is very important because this is every I believe that every topic is important, but this one it really connects to the platform of Speak Your Power Now. And why do I say that? Because a lot of times we look at what our voice is and what it's not. And a lot of times we look at where we are. And sometimes what we talked about last week is about unprocessed trauma. We talked about how healing your story and how confidence is not really, it's not about a confidence thing, it's about a healing thing of some maybe a traumatic things that have happened in your life. And now we got to heal those things. And then we're still walking with them unhealed. So, on today's topic, what I want to talk about is a little bit about the shift and how we are able to move through relationships, how we're able to move through conversations, how we're able to move with this space. But I want to talk a little bit about you're not struggling to speak. This is what the topic is. You're struggling to regulate, okay? To regulate yourself. Now, this topic can go for men and women, but this is a really a thing I want you to really listen to because it's not about needing more confidence. It's about how to regulate your nervous system. And in my dissertation, I talked about emotional intelligence. I talked about having emotional control over yourself. I talked about how you could begin to look at yourself more retrospectively because this is about you. This is not about someone else. This is about you showing up for you. But how you show up for people when you're always getting triggered by something that's either happening to you or you feel like it's happening to you, or you get triggered in a moment and it feels like whatever's going on, your responses in the moment takes you out of the space and you need to be regulated. So it's not about you speaking. It really is about you regulating yourself. It really is about understanding to be aware of self. So this is why these calls are very important because it gives you a space before you go out in the world. It gives you a space of owning your voice. But it also gives you a space of understanding of being aware of your voice because certain things get you locked out of conversation. Certain things get you locked out, not only conversations, but it gets you locked out of spaces where now you say things and then you don't really mean them. So why do we talk about this now? I really talk a lot to my black and brown women because a lot of us say culturally there's a cultural layer there that happens as well. So I'm going to go into that. But I want you to see in this moment when women know what they want exactly to say, or maybe you're a man looking at this, and this one I want to do a blanket because there's a lot of times where we don't know we know what we want to say, right? But when it comes to that moment something happens to you. You either freeze, you shrink, you overthink. I was a big overthinker. I was a big, what they're going to say about me, or you say it and then you keep replaying it in your head over and over and over again. I should have said it this way. I should have said it that way. Why didn't I just say what I meant to say? I need more confidence. I need to speak up more. I need to be stronger. So all these things starts going on in your head, right? So as a therapist, what I wanted to say to you today. I'm not taking away your therapist, but I am going to be giving you some clinical things. You are not the problem. Say that with me. I'm not the problem. I am not the problem, because a lot of times we look in the mirror and we say that you're not the I'm the problem. Something's wrong with me. No, you're not struggling because you don't know what to say. You're struggling because nobody ever taught you how to regulate your nervous system while saying it. I had to learn this. I'm telling you this because I had to learn this. My profession helped me so much in learning how to regulate Cheryl. Okay? So before I became Dr. Cheryl, before I became this movement mover, and speaking your power now, I struggled with speaking my power, because what I would want to do is tell someone off. What I would want to, I freeze in the moment. So I would fight. So I'm not a freezer. I'm a fighter. So I gotta fight, fight, fight for you to hear what I got to say, right? And sometimes it comes off wrong. So in the moment, you gotta look and see who you are in the spaces when you are now trying to regulate yourself. So as you begin to move in this thing, and it means simply not so deep. Now, this is not gonna be deep today. So I don't teach people how to talk. Right? I don't teach women how to regulate their bodies. I teach women how to regulate their bodies. And also this conversation today, if you a young man listening, or whatever, you give this topic to someone, because you and your emotions, you have to understand your emotions. This is what I teach. To regulate your body, understand your emotions so you can communicate clearly and with power. Because that's the difference between talking. There is a big difference between talking and communicating. Talking, you usually be expressing through emotions, right? You're expressing your emotions. You keep expressing your emotions. Communicating creates powerful outcomes. And most of us are taught to talk. We're never taught to communicate from a regulated space. So the real issue that really comes up is your voice lives in your nervous system. I want you to write that down. Your voice lives in your nervous system. So let me teach you something about your nervous system. Your voice doesn't just comes from your throat, like I said before. It comes and it lives in your nervous system. So think about when you're in a meeting. Think about when you are in a relationship, or if you are confronted, by a boss, or just confronted and have conflict specifically. The one thing your body is going to ask you is, am I safe? That is the one question that your body is bringing the signal up to your brain. Is Cheryl safe right now? Is Cheryl safe right now in this space? Is Cheryl moving in a space that she is safe? That is the one question that your body is going to ask you. Just one. And depending on the answer, depending on what your body response is going to say. Now, this is not consciously, but biology. Your body is going to respond in a biologically way from history. So when you're triggered in the moment and you ask yourself that, your body is probably can freeze, fight, fawn. I'm going to go over these a little bit if you haven't heard them, but you probably have. um Freeze is when you're going to be frozen in a moment. You go blank. You don't even know what to say, right? And later you're overthinking. I should have said that. Oh my God, I should have said that. Fight. That's another one. You come out strong, reactivated. Like you're just like, I'm coming out. I'm gonna let you know you're not gonna get the best of me. And you don't even have to, you just coming out, right? And the other one, you're gonna leave and fight. You're gonna fight. Leave. I'm not even dealing with it. I'm just going to avoid the whole situation. I'm out of here. And there's another one that we don't want to talk about. That's fawn. Over explaining because you want to justify it. You want to people please. So you're going to over explain yourself. So in these areas, just because you said no to something or just because you did something, sometimes we don't feel safe because we feel like there's repercussions that's going to happen. So when we do these things, we blame ourselves. And then we need to do it better. We got to have more confidence. I say no, because your nervous system is running the show. So this is bigger than you. This is why we got to go deeper into understanding ourselves. Now, this is my layer for my brown and black community. This is not just a personal thing to me, because this is cultural too. So we're taught not to ruffle the feathers, not to talk back, not to be, to be respectful and don't make people uncomfortable. If you're strong, don't be loud, whatever the case may be. So we equal silence with safety. And even when you're right, or even when you have something great to say, even when you even have the answer, even when you have the solution, now as grown women, we walk into rooms and our bodies remember some of the things that happened in this book that I talk about. So when you talk about how your body can't regulate, because I still see myself as a fat 12-year-old that walked into the school and everybody laughed at her. Or that I had big hair and that my mother didn't give me to have a perm, so water was not my friend. So you still walk through that. Or like Dr. Bell talks about her dark skin. I love, if you haven't watched it, you got to watch it, because I'm putting up the little speaks on, but her speak was powerful at the brunch. She said, what was the one thing that I could embrace? I would embrace my dark skin. That she had to regulate herself to understand. You know how confronting that is when you walk into a room and your skin and you don't look the same color and this is going on and that's going on and you feel like I don't fit in the room. Ooh, that's powerful. So before you speak, what you're going to do to step one to regulate. So I'm going to teach you how to regulate yourself. You're going to pause. You're going to breathe. You're going to ask yourself. You're going to ask yourself, am I tense? Is my heart racing? You're going to notice what's happening. Is my breathing shallow? Because if that is happening to you, your body may be in survival mode and you don't even know it. Your voice will follow survival. Yes. So your voice is not going to go into thriving mode or moving in you in a space where I'm thriving today, I'm powerful today. No, it's going to go on survival mode. It's going to shift because your body is saying, I'm unsafe. I'm unsafe. Alert, alert, alert. I'm unsafe. So then you got to observe what's happening around you. What are you telling yourself about what just happened? What are you telling yourself? They're going to judge me? I don't belong here? What am I going to say when I leave the room? What are they going to talk about me? Are they going to talk about me? What story is driving my reaction? So in this moment, you got to observe what stories you're telling and what story is driving your response, or what story is going to drive your reaction. Am I reactivated? So the third thing is you got to choose that response. You got to decide. Not from a fear space, not from a survival space, but from a powerful space. And this is where you can learn versus talking from communicating. Because when you clearly understand that when talking, you are releasing any of the emotion in the space without being able to hurt anyone. I'm not telling you not to feel. But what I am saying is when you communicate intentionally, you get intentional outcomes. So instead of I need to say how I feel, no. You need to shift from just go with me. What outcome do I desire to happen in this moment? That's power. This is why I keep this mirror here. I look at her before any meeting and I talk to her. Who's her? The woman in the mirror, the girl in the mirror, the guy in the mirror, whoever it is. You start talking to this person in the mirror and you start saying things to her. Before in that meeting, before the conversation, stand in the mirror. Regulate yourself first. Communicate with her first. My voice is now weak. Let Cheryl, your voice is now weak. It's being trained for power because your voice is safe. So before you have any pressure, before it goes on, you're going to pause, you're going to breathe. This is the one thing I want you to do today. Observe the story because this is not about perfection. It is about you in the space of awareness of how you're showing up in the world. Remember, you're not a bad communicator. You just never was taught how to regulate yourself to communicate powerfully. And that's what we're shifting in this movement. My voice is not in a reactivated mode. I have choice. My voice is a choice. I can regulate. I can observe. I can then speak, and I can speak with power. So I'm going to leave you with this word. You did not lose your voice. You learned how to survive without it. Okay, you need to write that down. You learned how to survive without it. Some of us go silent. Some of us just get really angry. Some of us leave. So where I'm teaching you for you to teach your body how when you feel safe in the moment, you can move with power. And this is where you can find yourself in a space of understanding what power is. Speaking with power, moving with power is understanding that I don't have to take another woman and bring her down to show me what I have power. Because once you understand and how you can silence that inner critic, how you can have agency in your own mind and your own space, you can understand. Now, because this is still Women History Month, I want to just leave you with a powerful, powerful woman, Shirley Chisholm. Now, if you don't know about Shirley Chisholm, she is a Black woman that understood regulation deeply, deeply, because she was the one that was faced when she walked into the room, the only woman at times, the only Black person at times, the only Black woman at times. I'm sure she felt dismissed before she even spoke. They probably interrupted her constantly. They probably talked over her multiple times. They probably talked down to her often. And I know that her nervous system had every reason to be dysregulated. It had every reason to freeze. It had every reason to fawn. It had every reason to fight. It had every reason to leave. But what did she do instead? She regulated. She spoke clearly. She spoke boldly. She didn't soften her message. She didn't even apologize for taking up space. She didn't let the negativity of dysregulation silence her. If she didn't, she knew one thing, like she always said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. So I learned this early, she said. She said she learned something early. That if she had to stay, she didn't have to stay calm. She learned how to stay calm, right? And regulate herself. Because if she let her anger speak for her, then that was just noise. It wasn't strategy. So she understood something more powerfully. I don't even think before therapy was ever even popular, she understood something about her nervous system. And when your nervous system is dysregulated, it is not going to land. So I want you to take this last little piece from Miss Shirley Chisholm that taught us regulation isn't weakness, it's power. It's how you want to access your voice, even in hostile environments. She taught us how to speak. She taught us how to not let dysregulation steal your message and how you can regulate before going into any space. Before you speak, you need to be prepared. During the conversation, in the moment, you're going to pause. And after you speak, you're going to integrate all these things as you begin to move in this space. So this is where you can begin to have prepare your nervous system so you can set yourself up for success. All right. I hope this was powerful for you. And if it is, if you want, this is your time where you get to open up your mic on Zoom and ask any questions at this time or comments. If this was good or great to you today, I love this topic. I think it was great. Let me know if anybody has anything to say. This is your time. Everybody's good today?
I can share something. Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Jennifer, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And I really appreciate this conversation this morning because I've specifically been working on my nervous system and training. I feel like it's a very long journey, but just training my nervous system to remain calm. And really, you mentioned like that 0 to 7, or just the little girl in you, the work that has to be done in order to understand how to tackle what's happening today. And so I'm just continuing to do that work and just being present. Because if I'm not taking those steps to be in front of the mirror to check in with her, to remind her who she is, um, things can look a lot different than when I don't prepare myself, or I don't just take that moment. So this was just a very, very, very refreshing. And I know that there's still a lot of work to be done. And so I'm just so thankful to have been in this space this morning to truly prepare for a meeting I'm going to have in a couple hours. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Exactly, Jennifer. That's exactly what this is about. This is about how do I come on this call and just get a little bit of something so I could go in my day. So I get a little bit of something powerful today because guess what? I always tell this community that when you show up in a space, you're showing up for our community. So I can't pop off. As much as I want to pop off, I can't pop off because guess what? They're going to look at me in a certain kind of way, and then now what they do is down there they're going to judge my counterpart. They're going to judge my sister that's coming behind me, and not give her the promotion because they remember how Cheryl popped off. And then you could become labeled as the angry black woman. You become labeled as someone that doesn't have their emotions under control. And this goes for everyone. This goes for a space where you got to get that emotion under control and regulate your body. So then you can have your voice be powerful. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing. Ah, yes, Lady B.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm still laying down, regulating my nervous system.
That's let's give that a hand because she don't be laying down. Wait a minute. I'm so
Um,
glad you are laying down.
yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes. I just wanted to share, just because of these calls and the work that you do, and I'm like a sponge. I'm listening to everything. Yesterday, I was on a call with a physician, and the work that I do, I I present their audit reports to them and provide the findings, and then give the recommendations in order to correct any of their opportunities or errors, etc. And there was a provider who immediately came on just fast talking, fast talking. She was, a white woman. She really didn't give me a chance to get a lot out. Um, and in the past, I, I don't know that I would have handled that in a healthy manner either. I would have sort of just shrink back because I didn't want to appear, aggressive, or I would have been aggressive. But what I did was I allowed her to finish a thought, and I found my entry point, and I said, I want to provide clarifying information to you. I'm not the auditor. I am the educator, and so I am presenting someone else's findings. So when I ask for clarification, it's because I want to be able to bring information back to the auditor very clear and concise. So I'd like to start again from the beginning and allow you to explain XYZ. And I went on, and she paused. And I got control of the conversation again. And I
Mhm.
really, really spoke with power. And I thank you because I was able to apply that um, because of this work. And
Mhm.
it was so I hung, and by the time I finished, she was like, "Oh, can I ask you a couple more questions? You're the expert. I know this is the best place to bring these questions." And in my mind, I'm saying, I'm like, mm-hmm. But it was such a powerful moment, such a
Oh,
powerful moment. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
oh my God, that is such a powerful, powerful. I wanted to say testimony, but it is a testimony because when you look at the work that you do and all of us here, because we were not taught, we get so triggered in the moment, and it's something called a trauma response. Because when somebody you feel is trying to demean you, think of Shirley Chisholm. This is why I give you someone to look at. Because if you can look at her and you say, if she could do it in the early 60s, the 50s, when I know that they did not want her at those tables, I know that they did not want me at those tables. Who are you to tell me, black woman? And they probably call it an N word. This is where you look at how you can be in the moment, in this space right here, and say, I am going to speak with power. Maybe I need to learn how to do that. And maybe I need to get my nervous system under control. And you need to be aware of how and what and how I'm showing up in the world. And it starts with your voice. It starts actually with your nervous system because your throat, it doesn't come from your throat. It comes from your nervous system and it actually comes out of your mouth. And what you say, you have to be accountable for what you say. And this is an opportunity for you to really get clear about how you're moving in the space of power, how I'm speaking with power, and how I'm moving with power. All right. Any other comment? Oh, Shawnee has something in the chat. Your voice lives in your nervous system. That statement alone is powerful. I have officially packed the suitcase for my voice to move where it was always meant to live. My nervous system is no longer its comfortable residence. Now, I want to talk about this. Your nervous system is a space where it needs to be, Shawnee. Let me just get this. Just my nervous system is no longer it's a comfortable residence. Yes, your nervous system needs to be trained. So our voice lives in our nervous system. So let me just get that clear. Our voice does live in our nervous system. However, our nervous system is trained possibly to either fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all those things. But I want you to train your nervous system to be in a space of being assertive, to be in a space of understanding with power, to speak with power, and be strategic with your voice. Our nervous system holds those things with us, but we were trained how to teach, how to be able to move because of the stories that happened to us. This is where we lie. This is where that moves. So now you get to control your nervous system. You get to be aware of how I want to be clear and concise, like Lady B just said. I know I need to get control over my body. I know I need to be in this space of understanding. Listen, how do I now do that? Maybe I need to go to Dr. Cheryl. She'll teach me a couple of things. And you guess what? I want then when you decide that you're gonna find that this your power, then you go cheat someone else. Then you cheat someone else. Then you cheat someone else. And that's how we can move the culture. And that's how we can move the space. Yes, Sabrina, I agree. That was a great testimony. Any other person that would like to say anything now? Well, all right. Why don't you share out this link because we are here every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is an amazing space to be. We gather together. If you want to come into the Zoom call and just be able to be, I'm glad I was able to send out the invitations. This is where you can begin to move and speak with your power. Remember that you're powerful. And remember that your voice matters and you'll be able to speak your power now. Until next time, have a great day.
You are enough. Your voice is divine. Now speak.